love lovers. Hi. So today we are going to do another requested video, a conjunction in Synastry, a conjunction of Sun and the South Node, also known as Ketu, right? So this one that we're going to do is I'm going to explain two different ideologies that are believed in, and I'm going to choose one based on experience with clients, right? But before we do, love lovers, I would like to start with a scripture. I know, right? Cliche. However, I'm going to start with a scripture, and this religious scripture is very, very important and critical to astrology, and obviously to our channel, Synastry, relationships based on astrology. So this scripture, as you can see, it says, as above, so below, right? And this scripture is from the Bible, right? The Bible of Christians who believe in it, right? There's Christians who believe in this, in the Bible. And it is from Matthew, it's quoted from Matthew chapter 6 and verse 10. Matthew chapter 6 verse 10, as above, so below. However, because I am not religious, I am just spiritual. By being spiritual, I do not identify myself as Christian. I identify myself as spiritual due to the fact that I am believing also in other religions' teachings. I believe in what other religions teach. I read the Quran. I read the Tanakh. I read different types of spiritual books because I'm spiritual. And obviously practicing astrology requires a whole lot of spirituality, because even though I am very based on scientific methods, practical methods, but there is a need for spiritual connection to be able to understand when you read somebody's chart, to be able to really understand what their life is about. You also need some sort of spiritual connection. It's like you won't get things right, 100% right, accurate, if you don't have the extra sixth dimension connection, right? So this is why spirituality for me is not, I cannot say I'm Christian, because then that would mean I'm religious, and religion I have found is very discriminatory. It discriminates against other people. There's us versus you, there's us versus them, and I don't like that. For me, I prefer to be, actually I'm going far ahead into something that is not the topic, so I digress. The Gemini mind in me takes over sometimes. So excuse me, pardon. Anyway, so I digress. I wanted to say that even though in the Quran this is not stated exactly, this verse is not in the Quran, however, I do know that there is an Arabic text, a very old Arabic text, which has been now adapted by the Hebrews and the Jews, as well. And this text reads, indeed, the highest are from the lowest, and the lowest are from the highest. This text to me translates the same as above, so below. It translates the same. It's the same, meaning that now all religions and all spiritual beliefs, we all have a connection of believing the same, that what is happening above is happening here below as well, right? Now, I say all of that to say this. I am going to join now. I'm joining now the pictures of, the sky right now as I'm making this video to show you guys what we're seeing, the current transit, where the planets are transiting. And I want you to focus on the directions that I am putting on the screen here now. The west, the south, the east, the north, right? Here on Earth, we have the map. We use, the same directions, north, south, east, west, whatever, right? And it is the same that is used in the galaxies up there, in the skies up there, okay? North remains north, south remains south, east remains east, and west remains west. Meaning that, again, going back to why I use Wholesign, meaning that whatever is decided up there, it also binds here. Whichever rules that the astronomers, now not astrologers, the astronomers use is definitely going to bind to the astrologers too, because this is my belief that the astronomers are here to tell us the scientific, practical view of how the galaxy is, how the skies are, right? And then the astrologer's job, it is to now explain using spirituality to connect what is found by the astronomers to the human life, right? That was a lot to start the topic with, right? But anyway, now let's get into the details. So, love lovers, basically when we're talking about Sun and Ketu, the South Node, right? As I said, two ideologies that are believed in. Like, even if you make a quick Google search, pertaining to the relationship between the two grahas, you will find mostly 90%, I would say 90% to 95% of the blogs and their researchers out there and the commentators out there, they will all agree that Sun and the South Node, Sun and Ketu, do not have a good relationship. They are enemies, right? That's what they will tell you. That's what you will find just on a simple Google search. However, the second ideology, which I believe in, which I'm following, as I said, based on the research that I do, collecting data from clients and reading that data and using that data to track their information and to validate the theories that I have learned from the astrology school, from other astrologers and other experienced people in this field. This second ideology is that Sun and Ketu are actually neutral to each other. They are not enemies. They are neutral to each other. The reason is simple. One, Ketu is the co-ruler of the 8th house. The 8th house is also co-ruled by who? Mars. Mars is best friends with Sun. Mars is a soldier that protects the Sun. That protects Sun, right? Therefore, due to them being co-rulers of the 8th house, Ketu and Mars, that makes Ketu neutral to Sun, because Ketu cannot be an enemy of Mars, since they are co-ruling the same house. Do you get what I mean, guys? It's like if you have it's like two brothers in the house, right? They own the house, and one brother is best friends with the king, right? And the other brother cannot be enemy, therefore by default, of the king. If they don't like the king, they will just be neutral, not rather like an outburst hate, right? Hatred. Because then it would mean that the Mars would have to kill Ketu, or would have to get rid of Ketu in favor of the king. So therefore it makes it invalid. It makes it invalid for the Ketu to be an enemy of Sun. Therefore, Ketu and Sun are actually neutral to each other. That is the ideology which a few of us believe in, and I believe in it too. Based on just the theoretical explanation of how really in a practical life this would go about, right? Now, knowing all of this, we need to now define these grahas, right? Sun represents, the king, the government, the father or fatherly figures, people who have authority over us. That's Sun, right? Sun also represents the soul, our vibrancy in life, like when we are vibrant, that's Sun. Our creativity, also children are represented by Sun, right? Because this is what the king of the 5th house. 5th house is a house of children, right? Sun represents fame. Sun represents the limelight, because again, the 5th house is a house of fame, right? Like a big screen fame. That's the 5th house. Now we are now looking at Ketu, the south node. As I said, represents some spiritual. I think actually I didn't define it yesterday when I was doing the video of Moon conjunct Ketu in the in Synastry. Well, sorry guys, but anyway, Ketu is the element of spirituality. Ketu represents also law. Literally, like law, many lawyers, they have a connection of Ketu to the houses of the law, right? So it's very important. And well, such as myself, right? Because I'm a lawyer and I have a connection to Ketu, because once my Ketu, once with the maturity, my Ketu made a crossover on my house related to law. This is when my legal, my master's in law got, validated, right? Anyway, I digress. So Ketu is law. Ketu is also sons, like kids, but like who are sons, as in the gender son. That's Ketu as well. Ketu can also represent dogs, right? Because you know how a dog is loyal and just all kind, and with some sort of sixth sense spirituality. Well, that's the force of Ketu. Because then the cat would be raw. You can see how the cat acts, right? Anyway. Ketu also, guys, represents confusion, represents being lost, represents distances, cuts, breakups, and getting back together. That's Ketu. And so now let's get into the dynamics. As I said regarding the moon conjunct Ketu conjunction in Synastry, well, with this one, it is basically fatherly figures that are coming back together with the child back in their past lives, and they're meeting again in this life to finish the purpose that they have not that they didn't meet back in their past lives. But I also want to clarify, very important, guys, and I'm sorry I did not clarify it enough in the moon conjunct Ketu video. When I say moon Ketu is basically the mother and the child coming back, it could also mean like it could also be a nurse and a patient from the past lives coming back, because maybe the nurse moon nurtured you into health. You were a patient child, right? So basically, when we talk about planets, you guys know that these grahas can mean a lot of stuff, and they can represent a lot of people, right? So when I say moon represents mother, but also moon represents nurse, represents a caretaker, a caregiver, represents, you know, even like a motherly figure around your home, you know. So when we talk about mother in general, we are talking literally about anybody who's able to give nurturing, to give care. So not really like the birth mother only, right? Which brings us to today. When I say this is a father and child coming back from the past lives to being lovers now, or to being, you know, having a relationship in this lifetime, we're literally saying that the father figure could be your government, from your mayor from your home place back in the day. He was a mayor, and maybe you were somebody, a citizen, a local who had to pay rent to the mayor, but you had to meet with them. Okay, whoever we're meeting now in this lifetime, we've already met them in the past, but meeting would have to, like, it would have to be a very close connection, somebody who you spoke to on a daily basis, even if it's your neighbor, you're passing them by every day, but it would be somebody that you met before on a daily basis, right? So now when we're saying father, just think about what the sun represents in astrology. Sun could be father, sun could be the government, sun could be you know, the sun, you know, is in kid, child, son, not daughter, but son, you know. Son could be, you know, the prime minister, you know, anybody who has authority, son. So you could think that. And of course, the Ketu would be now also anything that represents Ketu, such as a lawyer, such as, you know, a spiritual guru, such as even what you call it, a terrorist, because Ketu represents terrorists as well. So a terrorist, it could be sun. So, but then it would have to be now a relationship that existed before. So maybe if we're using a lawyer, for example, the Ketu was a lawyer and the sun was, you know, the king, you know, back in the past lives, and maybe the lawyer was representing the king or something like that, right? And you're coming back into this lifetime and meeting as lovers now, or as friends, or whatever synastry that you're looking at as, you know, you reading your synastry, right? So basically, guys, in a nutshell, this conjunction is going to give a lot of stubbornness. In this relationship, we are going to see a lot of stubbornness coming out,
and anger,
and there's no partner to point it to. It could be the Sun partner, it could be the Ketu partner, but somebody will be stubborn, very, very stubborn. Okay, it's like they don't want to change their mind once they've decided something. Why, Nita? Okay, guys, let me tell you, this is king. Imagine the king. The king is the one whose word is taken as serious, right? The king is the one whose order is taken as serious, right? But now this king is with what? Ketu. Ketu does not have the head according to the Vedic scriptures. So imagine somebody who's headless. They don't have what? Ears to hear you. They don't have what? Eyes to see you. They don't have what? Mind to process what you're saying to them. They don't have what? Mouth to speak to you. Right. So now it's like, even if the king is giving orders, oh babe, can you do this for me? Babe, can you do that for me? Baby, can you pass by the store, get this for me? And the Ketu partner arrives at home carrying nothing of what was asked. Of course, this is normal. Why? Because no ears, no eyes, no head. Imagine just like something like that. So this is why we are going to get a lot of stubbornness, because each partner is having their own world within the relationship. Right. Literally, the Sun partner is all about me. I am the king, the queen, the queen, right? But then Ketu is like, I can't see you. Right. So of course that's going to bring up emotions of frustration. We are getting here now, right? To the juice. So this conjunction brings out frustration. Remember, with the moon and the Ketu, it was bringing up psychomatic episodes. But here, no, there's no psychomatic episodes. It's just here frustration and stubbornness that we are seeing in this conjunction, with this conjunction, right? And as a result, you could find a lot of resentment with the Sun partner. This resentment obviously is coming from not being recognized as queen, king, that they feel that they are, I'm the king, I'm the queen, you can't see me, ooh, look at me, right? So it would bring some resentment of, how can you not recognize who I am? How can you not recognize how royal and regal I am? Look at me how I walk. You don't even see that I have the crown on my head. Ah? Woo, guys. Woo. But now, because these two individuals, they met. And they met because there's a common ground. There is a belief system that they are finding it common, okay? It could be whatever belief system, but there's something that they believe in, which is the same, which is common in this relationship. So if we're talking about religious people, maybe it's religion that is common and that's binding them together. If they love sports, maybe they believe in, the sportive life, being active, that's what they are bound by. If they believe in, dieting, going to the gym, creating stuff, being spiritual, there is some very, very, very distinct belief system that they are bound by. Why? Simply because, remember, king king, sun, king, is bound by rules, is bound by laws. Okay, if the king cannot have laws in his city will be chaotic. At the same time, Ketu, the lawyer. The lawyer is the one who enforces the law, right? Not enforces, but who makes sure that it's translated and was translated as well as explained to the people, whether the victim or the judge or whoever, right? So you have a commonality of a certain belief system that these guys are bound by, okay? There will be the frustrations, yes. There will be the resentment, yes. There will be the stubbornness, yes. But because of this common belief thing that they believe in, you find that they find so much strength to be together and so much hope for the relationship. Because remember, sun is hope, sun is vibrancy. And in fact, the sun partner would be the one who tries to bring a lot of life, a lot of vibrancy, a lot of positivity in this relationship. Whereas the Ketu partner is like, you know, whatever, dude. Whatever flows, dude, it flows. Yeah? But like the conjunction of moon and Ketu, at some point the sun partner will feel this resentment for sure, because Ketu has an impact of hurting, okay, or of breaking things. So it doesn't matter how good the relationship is and how good the belief system between you are, how common your belief systems are. It doesn't matter. There will be a break or a cut in the harmony that you have, because that's the role of Ketu. We cannot run away from it. That's what Ketu does. It just breaks things, okay? But it breaks things and brings them back together. So this is why you find that a lot of people go back and forth, back and forth. So maybe you guys don't break up the relationship, but you break up in terms of believing in the same things or something, you know, the common ground that was there, you don't find it at one point, and then you get back together, you talk about it, you're like, okay, actually, yeah, I can hear your point. Yeah, I feel your point. Yeah. And then you continue with life, and then again there's that period where you just don't understand why you don't, you know, feel like you believe the same things anymore, and back together again, because that's the role of Ketu. Right, guys? So I know I started with a lot of blah blah blah, yeah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and it took like 7 minutes, guys. 7 minutes just talking about spirituality. Yeah. Anyway, that's the Ketu effect, because Ketu spirituality, right? So guys, thank you so much. I'll chat to you soon, okay? Ciao, ciao.